My ex cheated for 8 months. Now she's under workplace investigation. I'm 32, an engineer, and for 5 years, Sarah was my world. We'd built a life together, or so I thought. Our apartment, our routines, the plans we made for the future, it all felt solid, real. Then, about 6 months ago, I found out she'd cheated. One time, with a coworker, it hit me like a gut punch. The air left my lungs, and the world just tilted. She swore it was a mistake. A one-off, said she was confused, that she loved me, that it wouldn't happen again. A lot of tears, a lot of apologies. And me, being the dumbass I was, I believed her. I wanted to believe her. We had 5 years. Man, 5 years. You don't just throw that away, right? I told myself it was an anomaly, a momentary lapse in judgment. I wanted to fix it. I wanted us to be fixed. So, against my gut, against everything I knew about once a cheater, always a cheater, I gave her another shot. That was my first mistake, and probably the biggest one. For a few weeks, things felt normal-ish. Tense, yeah, but she was extra attentive, extra sweet. I started to let my guard down, tried to convince myself that maybe, just maybe, we could move past it. I'm a logical guy, always have been. I like things to make sense, to have a clear path forward. So, I tried to rationalize it, to process it like a problem that could be solved. But emotional problems don't work like that. They fester. Then, about 2 weeks ago, the whole damn house of cards came crashing down. The truth spilled out, not in a trickle, but in a goddamn flood. She hadn't just cheated once. She'd been continuously cheating on me with the same guy for the last 8 months. 8 months. That means it started before I found out the first time. That means her one-time mistake was a load of shit, a convenient lie to keep me around while she kept playing me for a fool. And if that wasn't enough, I found out she'd also been messaging 2 other dudes on the side. Not just the affair partner, but 2 more. What the hell? Men, that was it. The final straw. There was no going back, no fixing this. I walked away. For good this time. No more excuses. No more believing the lies. It hurt. Yeah, like a motherfucker. But it was also a relief. The weight of constantly wondering, constantly doubting, it lifted. I was free of her bullshit. You know, it's funny how things work. You deal with the pain. You start putting your life back together. And then out of nowhere, the universe decides to drop a bombshell. Just yesterday, my phone rang. It was an investigator from her job. Not some random coworker, but an actual investigative unit. Turns out, Sarah and her affair partner are under investigation for having sex in their office and other private areas at work. Holy shit. Apparently, this isn't some small-time operation. Her employer is a massive company, one of the biggest in the United States. And from what the investigator told me, this isn't just a slap on the wrist. This could mean her losing her job, being blacklisted from the company entirely, and maybe even losing her professional license. The affair partner is probably looking at similar consequences. My mind immediately went to the lease on our old apartment. We're still technically both on it, even though I moved out and she's been paying the rent. If she loses her job, what then? Am I on the hook for that? That's the kind of practical shit that snaps you back to reality in a hurry. My credit is good. I've worked damn hard for it. And the thought of some stupid decision she made screwing that up for me boiled my blood. The investigator mentioned that my name came up through her coworkers. I guess I was friends with a lot of them, and they mentioned me as someone who could confirm the relationship. It made sense. I had a ton of screenshots, texts, dates, and other details that clearly proved their ongoing affair. If I opened my mouth, if I shared what I knew, it would very likely seal the case against her. Wow, here's where it gets complicated. A huge part of me, the raw, pissed off part, wants revenge. After everything she did, the lies, the manipulation, the emotional damage, a part of me wants nothing more than to see her face the consequences. I remember all those nights I lay awake, replaying conversations, trying to figure out where I went wrong, feeling like a complete idiot for giving her another chance. She showed me zero pity, zero compassion when she was screwing around behind my back, talking to other dudes because one affair partner wasn't enough. Why the hell should I show her any? But then there's the other part, the logical, more grounded part. It doesn't feel as satisfying as I imagined. It feels heavy, like pressing a button that I can't unpress. I know that probably sounds a little soft, and like I want the outcome but not the responsibility of causing it. Maybe it is, but I was with this woman for 5 years. Man, 5 years is a long time to invest in someone, to share your life with them, even though she betrayed me, completely destroyed my trust. there's still a part of me that remembers the good times. The person I thought she was. The investigator told me I'd be kept anonymous, but I still have doubts. Companies protect themselves first and foremost. They're not looking out for me. They could throw me under the bus in a heartbeat if it suited their interests. And then there's the apartment. If she loses her job and can't pay, I'm on the hook. That's a real, tangible problem. Debt collectors, hit to my credit. That's not something I want to deal with. I never expected to be in a situation where I had this much control over someone's future, especially someone who hurt me so badly. But now that I am, I honestly don't know what the right move is. It's not about being a good guy or a bad guy. It's about protecting myself, while also dealing with the natural desire to see justice served. I mean, if she was so comfortable having sex in her workplace, a massive corporation, then it shows a complete disregard for rules, for professionalism, for consequences. That's her problem, not mine. And the fact that she was talking to 2 other guys on the side, on top of the affair partner, that's not a mistake. That's a pattern of seeking attention and validation from anywhere she can get it, regardless of who she hurts. It just confirms what I already knew. She's not accountable for anything she does. Everything is always someone else's fault. She probably frames her affair as setting boundaries or some other therapy speak bullshit. She expects princess treatment but contributes nothing of substance. It's all about her, all the time. A part of me thinks, just let it happen. She'll get fired anyway. The investigator implied they have enough already. Do I really need to get involved and potentially complicate my own life? My revenge should be living my best life. Happy and successful without a second thought about her. But then another voice, the one that remembers the sting of her betrayal, whispers, this is your chance. Make her pay. I talked to a buddy of mine, Mark, about it. He's been divorced twice, seen his fair share of relationship bullshit. He just listened for a while, nodding. Then he said, man, she didn't give a flying fuck about you for 8 months. Where was her compassion then? Don't you think she deserves to face the music? The dildo of consequences rarely arrives lubed. My friend, he had a point. She wasn't showing me any pity when she was sucking and screwing that dude in her office, or when she was texting other guys. But then my other friend, Chris, who works in HR, gave me a different perspective. Dude, I've seen this shit from the inside. You're talking about a professional license, people's livelihoods. They probably have enough already. But here's the thing. You're an outsider. You don't have the company's protection. No retaliation clause for you. If you give them evidence, she'll know. And if she knows, and her name is on that lease with yours, she could easily let those payments lapse just to screw with you. Not your monkey, not your circus. Consult a lawyer before you do anything. That's the core of it, isn't it? The apartment. If she loses her job and can't pay rent, I'm on the hook. And knowing her, if she finds out I helped sink her career, she'd probably purposely let the lease payments lapse, maybe even trash the place. There goes my security deposit. There goes my credit. And then I'm dealing with landlords and debt collectors. That's not a headache I need. This whole situation is so outlandish. An investigative unit contacting an ex-boyfriend. It just feels off. Why would they involve an outsider? It makes me wonder what they really have. Are they just trying to strong-arm her? Or do they really need my testimony? My cynical side thinks they want to use me. And then when the dust settles, I'll be the one left holding the bag if things go sideways with the apartment. I'm torn. Man, on one hand, I want to see her get what she deserves. The satisfaction of knowing her actions have real, painful consequences. On the other hand, I have to protect myself, my financial stability, my peace of mind. Those things matter more than getting some fleeting satisfaction from her downfall. It's a tricky balance between what feels right and what's practical. The idea of consulting a lawyer before I do anything makes sense. The company's lawyers are there to protect the company's interests, not mine. They're not going to tell me what's best for me. It's a messy situation, and I just want to make the right move without shooting myself in the foot. This whole thing makes you realize how interconnected your life can be with someone else's, even after you've cut them out. You try to move on, build something new, and then their past comes back to bite you in the ass. It's a hell of a thing. A couple days passed, and the investigator called again. He was persistent, polite, but definitely pressing. He reiterated the anonymity part, trying to soothe my concerns. Said they just needed to cross-reference some information, that my statement would simply be part of a larger body of evidence. I told him I needed more time to think. He sounded a bit annoyed, but said he'd call me back in a few days. The pressure was building, and I could feel the stress tightening my jaw. My sleep has been crap since this all started, just tossing and turning, replaying scenarios in my head, My focus at work has been shot too, staring at my computer screen but my mind miles away, running through worst-case scenarios with that damn apartment lease. I decided to call up a lawyer, found one through a referral from a colleague, someone who specializes in landlord-tenant law and general civil stuff. Figured it was better to be safe than sorry. We set up a call for the next morning. Sitting there, explaining the whole twisted saga to a lawyer felt strange. It laid out all the facts, cold and hard, without the emotional baggage. He listened, took notes, and then gave me the lowdown. Look, he said, if you're on that lease, you're on the hook. Doesn't matter who's living there. Doesn't matter who's supposed to be paying. If the rent stops, the landlord comes after everyone on the lease. That's how it works. Your credit would take a hit, and they could sue you for back rent and damages. Then we talked about the company investigation. He was skeptical about the anonymous claim. Companies say a lot of things to get what they want. If your evidence is critical, or if she requests to see what they have against her, your name could come out, and if it does, then she'll know you helped. And if she knows, well, she's got leverage with that lease. It's a gamble. Man, what's more important to you, seeing her get hers, or protecting your own ass? He wasn't wrong. It all boiled down to that. Revenge, or self-preservation. It made me think about all the times I put her first, sacrificed my own needs for hers, and how she just walked all over it. This wasn't about me saving her, or fixing her. This was about her consequences, and my future. I walked away from that call with a clearer head, but no easy answer. The lawyer had just confirmed my worst fears about the apartment. It added a huge layer of practical concern to my decision. My loyalty to her was long gone, replaced by a cold calculation of risk versus reward. I remembered the feeling of being gaslit, of her telling me I never said that when I had the receipts right there in my hand. The way she'd weaponized past mistakes in arguments, always shifting the blame, never taking responsibility. She was a master manipulator, and I'd been too blind, too trusting, too caught up in the idea of what we could be, rather than what we actually were. The next day, the investigator called again. I took a deep breath. Listen, I said, I appreciate you reaching out, but I'm not going to provide a statement or any evidence. This is between her and the company. There was a pause on the other end, a beat of silence that spoke volumes. Are you sure about that? Sir, your testimony could be very helpful in this case. I'm sure, I replied, my voice steady. I've moved on. I'm not getting involved. He tried to push a little more, reminding me of the seriousness of the allegations, but I held my ground. My decision is final, I said, and then, after another brief, awkward silence, I ended the call, hanging up. A strange mix of relief and something else, maybe a tinge of disappointment, washed over me. I'd made the decision to protect myself, to prioritize my own financial and mental well-being over the fleeting satisfaction of seeing her publicly humiliated. It was a tough call, a messy one, but it felt right. It felt like I was finally taking control, not letting her past actions continue to dictate my present or future. I reached out to the landlord, explained that Sarah and I had broken up, and asked about getting my name off the lease. He was hesitant at first, like the lawyer predicted. Why would I take your name off when she might not be able to pay? He asked. It was a fair point. I had to push, explaining that I was no longer living there and that continuing to be on the lease was creating an undue burden on me. It wasn't an easy conversation, but after some back and forth, he agreed to look into options, probably because he didn't want to deal with a potential legal dispute down the line. It wasn't a guarantee, but it was a start. I don't know what happened to Sarah and her affair partner at work. I haven't heard anything since. Maybe they got fired. Maybe they got a warning. Maybe they worked some magic and got off scot-free. It doesn't matter to me anymore. My focus is on rebuilding my own life, finding someone who values honesty and respect, and moving forward without the drama and manipulation. This whole ordeal taught me a lot. It showed me how easily you can get caught up in someone else's chaos, how important it is to trust your gut, and how quickly those red flags you ignore can turn into a full-blown inferno. It also reinforced the importance of clear boundaries, both in relationships and in life. I made mistakes, big ones, by giving her too many chances, by letting my hope for what we could be overshadow the reality of what she was doing. But I learned from them, and that, in the end, is its own kind of victory. I'm moving on, stronger and wiser, and I'm damn sure I won't be making those same mistakes again.